Right now, plane tickets are getting cheaper. Good for us, but maybe a sign of trouble for the airlines. Plus, more tariffs are on the way, and more business leaders are saying they're feeling the strain. And improving safety and traffic along I-85, how GDOT plans to make it all happen. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome. I'm Chesley McNeil, and this is The Take, where we go above and beyond the headlines and we look at the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in to share their take on today's top stories, and we try to have just a little bit of fun as well. Let's get to our top story this Friday. This summer travel season is right around the corner. Good news for flyers. Plane tickets are starting to get a little bit cheaper. The Consumer Price Index this month shows airline fares have fallen about 5% from this time last year. It will now cost you about $253 on average, but what's good for us may not be a good sign for the airlines and the industry as a whole. Joining me now is Bill McGee. He's the Senior Fellow for the Aviation at America Economy of Liberties Project. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Thanks very much, Chesley. Happy to be here.
When we start to hear these prices going down, is that a good sign? Is that a good signal for us?
It's good for us. It's good for consumers, no question. But if you're an airline executive in a C-suite right now, you're probably not too happy.
Oh, wow.
But there's been this sort of perfect storm, a confluence of events in the last couple of months that have completely turned around the airline's fortunes.
What contributes to that drop?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the new administration, quite frankly. The effect of the tariffs is having a very chilling effect on the industry. Don't forget, many of the aircraft that U.S. airlines use are by Airbus in Europe, and so the tariffs are hitting them pretty strongly on that. Delta, in fact, has said it won't accept delivery of certain aircraft because of the tariffs. And then you have just, the overall economic uncertainty. And that is really, what we've seen over the years is that in many ways, air travel is sort of a bellwether of the overall economy, going back many, many decades. A lot of economists who have nothing to do with aviation or airlines will look at airline stock and say, uh-oh, there's an early sign, sort of, canary in the coal mine type of thing, And that's what we're seeing now. In January, just before Inauguration Day, all of the U.S. airlines reported their 2024 earnings, and all the big ones did very, very well. Some of them had record earnings. Now, 3 months later, we just finished the first quarter, and all of them, without exception, have downwardly changed their projections for 2025. That's just in 3 months.
Wow. So how's all the uncertainty that you're talking about, how's it impacting them? Is that the pull on the price, or is it seems like it would up the price, right, if they're having trouble as far as making money, right?
Yeah, it's a sort of classic supply and demand thing. They have been chilled by the fact that bookings have fallen off. And so when that happens, it's often good news for those that do want to travel. And I should point out, timing has a lot to do with this also. As a general rule in the United States, if schools are out during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, during the summer, obviously, fares tend to go up. And there's, a lot more families traveling for obvious reasons. May and September, October, those are what the industry calls the shoulder seasons. If you're able to get away then, I know it's already May, but if you're able to get away, you'll do even better probably than you will during the summer. So that's one thing to look at.
What is your advice for people who know that they're going to be getting away? I know that typically airlines will offer a certain price deduction on fares for a certain point of time. So do you have to get in early? Obviously, the earlier the better.
Yeah, for every the problem with shopping for airfares, Chesley, is for every rule there's a counter rule. But as a general rule, yeah, the earlier the better. Particularly since this summer, there's going to be restraints on capacity. We have problems we don't have enough air traffic controllers in this country, and particularly in the New York region where it's become critical. At Newark Airport, there have been delays every day this week. Now you may say, well, I'm in Atlanta, I'm in Los Angeles. That's not going to affect me. It's all part of a bigger puzzle, So the fact is that does affect you. So my own personal advice is I would book. If you see a fare that you like, take it, because it may not be there later on. You
mentioned air traffic controllers. I did see a report yesterday that they're looking they need thousands. Yes. What have they been doing to try to beef that up?
Well, there are some new efforts that the new administration has put in place to try and attract more air traffic controllers. But there's sort of some counter messages as well. Due to DOGE, there were some layoffs, not in the towers with the controllers themselves, with the support staff for air traffic control. And that's a really, really bad idea. Can't stress that enough. And also, of course, the DEI pipeline was bringing in new folks to air traffic control and to other government functions. And by shutting that down, I think long term that's going to hurt us.
Wow.
You're not going to have the same, amount of attraction for people that may not have thought about a career in aviation.
Yeah, Bill McGee, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your insight.
Jesse.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah.
All right, to get some more perspective on how these prices might impact the summer travel season, we spoke with a luxury travel advisor. She says summer travel has been sort of a wait and see kind of game this year. More people are booking things at the last minute, but ticket prices are a big factor, so a drop in prices could make an impact.
It's something that for our clients, we have them look at before we even start the planning process. If they come to us and they say, this is my dream destination, the first question, and we start talking about budget, the first question is, have you looked at flights? How do those fit into your budget? And sometimes flights can eat away the entire budget so that the experience is not feasible.
All right, so the big question of the morning is, will ticket prices go back up? Will they stay down? Well, of course, nobody can tell the future, but Allison says, well, she does offer some advice for us.
I think everyone always wants to talk about that. And I do get clients a lot of times like, I heard if you book on Tuesday. And, if I wish that was true, I would only book on Tuesdays. But what I have read is that United and Delta are already dropping some of their routes for the fall. And so what that's going to do again is they're going to decrease their supply. Our demand may stay flat, but with the supply going down, the prices will definitely go back up. So I think if you see a great deal, grab it. Most airlines are really flexible. So if your dates don't work, you can change it.
Wow, I thought the Tuesday, through Thursday thing was real. She's saying it's not. Wow. So if you find a good deal, folks, you better jump on it because those prices will be fluctuating. So hopefully if you got some summer travel, which most of us do, go ahead and try to book as early as you can. Let's take a look at our 7-day outlook for today. Speaking of travel, you want to travel today? Do so. 83 degrees for the afternoon high, but be on the lookout for scattered thunderstorms, especially by this afternoon going into the evening. Saturday, if you had plans outside, definitely want to pay close attention to the forecast. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will be around off and on through the day on Saturday, thanks to a front that's going to move through. Behind the front will clear it out. Sunday looking good, 75 degrees for the high. Monday, Tuesday look great as well with temperatures in the 70s, right where we should be for this time of year. 80 by Thursday of next week with 30% chance of rain returning to the area. We'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. Business leaders are sounding the alarm over President Donald Trump's tariffs, and more are going to kick in tomorrow. Joining us now is NBC's Bianca Fascini. And Bianca, small businesses and leader industries are both feeling the pinch from these tariffs. What are you hearing from them?
Hey, that is correct. This is something that is affecting businesses across the board, whether we're talking small mom and pop shops across the country or even really big U.S. companies. I mean, we saw with McDonald's, they had a disappointing earnings report. They're sort of blaming part of that on the tariff pressure that consumers are feeling. We know Hershey is worried about how tariffs are going to affect their sales. Even Southwest Airlines, their CEO was saying that they feel that consumers are feeling the pressure, and as a result, their profits are going to be hurt by this. So that's why I think we recently saw the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce here in Washington write a letter to the Trump administration saying, can we have some sort of chance for these small businesses in particular to get a way out of what you're trying to do with tariffs, because right now they're telling us that they're really worried about the future of their business. So there's really no sort of safe business to be in right now, regardless of size, when it comes to the threats that the tariffs pose.
Mm-hmm. President Trump delivered the commencement address at the University of Alabama. What was his message on tariffs then?
So he told graduates in his speech that they are going to make us very rich and that very soon we are going to see the impacts of these tariffs on how they're going to make us much wealthier. He didn't really get into detail beyond that, but the message from the administration has been, once we implement these tariffs and we bring companies back to the United States, we're going to be able to give everyone tax breaks and everyone's going to be able to save money because we won't have as many jobs or businesses offshoring jobs in other countries. Beyond that, he didn't exactly touch on tariffs. It was a lot of prices coming down, inflation, the economy is turning around. This is the golden age. It's a great time for you to be graduating and entering the job market. But it really will be interesting to see what happens, especially after tomorrow, because more tariffs will be implemented. They have been adjusted by the Trump administration, the auto tariffs in particular. But still, regardless, it's more tariffs that are coming. And it will be interesting to see how the administration is able to sort of sway voters that are worried about what this means for inflation and what this is going to mean for them as consumers, because we know that a lot of people are really, really worried about this, especially because inflation has still remained pretty stubborn.
Yeah, we'll be on the wait and see. All right, Bianca Fascini, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. All right, the weekend is right around the corner, so you know what that means, a new edition of the Georgia Vote. Co-anchor Zach Merchant joining me now on the show, as he does every Friday, and never a dull moment when it comes to Georgia politics. Zach?
Chesley, no, it is not at all. And if you're a close watcher of politics in Georgia, or even just you watch The Take and you see us talk about this each week, you could be forgiven if you feel like it's starting to feel almost like, if you're a sports fan, what the pre-draft conversation sounds like and feels like. There's lots of contenders, there's jockeying, there's rumors about who's going where, a lot of speculation. Even though we're still way out in front of this 2026 election season, it feels like it's close. We are working to try to cut through the noise and make this all make sense, Chesley.
You always do. So what's the big story this week?
Well, the big story is Brad Raffensperger. He's the Republican Secretary of State. He has been a part of that rumor mill for a while now, but usually in the conversation, he's more in the also possible mention. You know, they'll be talking about candidates, say this person, this person is likely to run for this or that 2026 position. And also, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger might jump in. Not anymore, though. In an interview this week, he walked right up to the line of announcing a run for either Senate or governor in 2026. To be clear, he did not make it official. He said he's still thinking about it when we had this conversation, this interview earlier this week, but he signaled he is really strongly considering a run. And you can hear his answer for yourself, as well as what he says will be his deciding factor this Sunday on the Georgia Vote.
Man, okay, so Raffensperger has been a household name here in Georgia for a while now. Is that normal for a Secretary of State?
You know, maybe in a battleground state in this modern era of politics that we are in, but it is, candidly. It's hard to think of another state Secretary of State anywhere in the country who has been more in the national spotlight than Brad Raffensperger. He is, of course, the state's election leader, and he oversaw some big-time, high-intensity, high-profile elections. We're talking about the 2020 presidential race, the 2022 midterms, and the 2024 presidential election that we just got through a few months ago, even though that might feel like a long time in the rearview mirror. In particular, after the 2020 presidential election, Raffensperger faced an onslaught of unproven claims questioning the outcome of the election, including from President Donald Trump. And Raffensperger, a Republican, he defended the state's election system and the accuracy of the results. He faced vicious criticism from within his own party and a strong primary challenger in 2022. But he won that race. He won the general election. He's been on this kind of 6-year odyssey through the Republican Party. We talked this weekend about where he sees himself and his position inside his own party and whether he thinks he could make it through a Republican primary in a potential Senate or governor race. That's coming up this Sunday in our interview.
All right. What else should we be watching for on Sunday morning?
Well, look, we talk about this a lot. It feels like the elections are a long way off, but it also feels like they are right on top of us already right now. The AJC has a new Georgia-specific poll. It is out examining how Georgia voters see President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office, how they look at the big issues, and their views on the 2026 election. And we are walking you through those results with AJC politics editor Shannon McCaffrey. She will be joining us this Sunday.
Sounds good. All right. Any other big news in the world of Georgia politics?
There always is, Chesley. You know that. There always is stuff going on in our state that has become part of this national political conversation. One person to focus on here, though, who I think just about everybody watching will know, they'll recognize the name, it's Keisha Lance Bottoms. She is a former Atlanta mayor. She also served in the Biden administration, and she has been heavily hinting that she plans to run for governor in this upcoming election cycle. She confirmed that she plans to run to 11Alive about a month ago. Now, this week, she's taking public steps to make it official. Earlier this week, she filed paperwork to formally establish her campaign committee, One Republican political strategist, when I showed him the announcement, he said, the news leaves little doubt that she is going to run. A Democrat put it more succinctly. He said, at this point, the only question is when she will be announcing.
All right, we'll be waiting and watching. We know you'll be all over it. Zach, really appreciate you joining us on the show.
Thanks, Chesley.
All right, the Georgia Vote and Zach and Faith Jesse airs on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock and right here on 11 Live Plus. Make sure you check it out. All right, the city of Atlanta is looking to keep the legacy residents in their homes, but that can be hard with the prices going up. That's why the city is offering a new tax relief program. Mayor Andre Dickens and other Atlanta officials announced the Anti-Displacement Tax Relief Fund yesterday. It started out as a pilot program last year, open to about 100 people. This year, the city leaders estimate they'll be able to help about 245 homeowners. The city plans to pay the increase in property tax above the homeowner's base rate for the next 25 years.
People who have been in their houses for decades should not lose their homes because of rising property taxes.
So I filled out the paperwork, and when they called me and said that it hadn't been accepted, I was on my knees because my taxes had gone up over $1,000 in 1 year.
Wow. Our applications are now open through the end of the month. You must be at least 60 years old and have owned your home since at least 2015. All right, we got more stories for you coming up. This is The Take on 11 Live Plus. We're back right after this. Improving traffic and improving safety, the Georgia Department of Transportation is looking at some new projects that could help drivers along I-85. Joining us now is GDOT spokesperson and good friend of the show, Natalie Dale. Good to see you, Natalie.
Always good to see you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. All right, talk to us about this study that GDOT has been doing on the highways.
Well, I feel like we've been sort of working our way around the metro week by week. We've talked about 285 and 20 on the east side, on the west side. Now we want to focus today on the I-85 corridor. We've been working with Gwinnett County to do an extensive study of this 18-mile stretch of congestion, really, looking at different solutions for the different transportation users who use this corridor. And we're basically talking I-85 from about 285, so the Spaghetti Junction area, all the way up to 985, looking at who's using the corridor, what the pros are, what the cons are, what they're stuck in, what they need, what they don't need. And so we've brought a lot of ideas to the table. Now we need that ever important phase, which is we want the community to take a look at these ideas, to take a look at these potential projects. Let us know what they think.
What else did you find with the study?
So, well, I don't want to spill all the beans because we do want people to come to the site and come to these community events, come to these and get the information for themselves. So, but I'll give you a sneak peek.
Yes.
What we're looking at is several different users in this corridor. You've got pedestrians and bike users with trying to cross a very busy interstate, 6 lanes in each direction. You've got your morning congestion. 85 southbound can back up as much as 11 miles on a weekday. I know you see it. We all do. Also, the freight traffic that we have coming through metro area. So we look at simple ideas like, how do we get pedestrians and bicycles across 85? What are the accommodations we need on those interchanges within the corridor? Do we need to expand the managed lane system within this corridor? Do we need a freight only system where it separates the freight trucks from the other congestion like you and I to create better mobility? And of course, always, 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 our ultimate goal is safety for all users of the corridor.
Wow. See, all that sounds good to me. But how can we get involved in the process? Well, did you mention like there'd be some meetings that are set up and people get to come in here and learn more about it?
Right. Well, easiest way is 85study.com.
Okay.
Go there. You can review all the ideas, look at what the study means, what it doesn't mean. You know, again, we've been working for a while with Gwinnett County on this to look at the options, to look at what is needed, to really dive into users of the corridor and see what's going to move the needle. So come to 85study.com. There's also, we'll be at community meeting, Derby Day this weekend. There's also, you'll see a list on there of public meetings that are open for you to come and review these materials, talk to project managers, talk to GDOT and Gwinnett County representatives. So sign on, 85study.com. Look at any option that you can either log on and provide comment or come meet us and provide those comments.
So it sounds like you guys are open to the public adding some input to this too.
We are always, always open to the public adding input. That is a vital part of project creation, whether it's through the environmental phase, which is federally regulated, but it's us. We want to know if you're going to use what we're going to spend money on to build. And so that's how projects get built. When the community comes together and says, this interchange reconstruction is great, but I really need to get across there. Where are the pedestrian accommodations? And we go back and we say, well, we didn't know that many pedestrians needed to use it. So now we're going to sort of rework the wheel to make sure that pedestrians are being met where they need to be met. So public input is always a vital part of project creation.
Sounds good. Our friend, Natalie Dale, your friend as well. Really appreciate you joining us. Have a great weekend.
You as well.
All right, take care. All right, you might notice a smoother ride next time you drive through Forest Park. Last week, the city launched a new Pothole Ranger Brigade. Yeah, a specialized crew focused on identifying and repairing potholes across the Forest Park area. The brigade started in the high traffic areas and now has begun to shift to the neighborhoods.
It's very important for us to make these repairs for the safety of the community. And how we identify them is also important for the community to report these potholes using one-click mobile. They can be reported any time of the day, and we are out here 5 days a week, and we also can be called in on the weekends if it's important.
It's important, right? You don't want your car messed up, so officials, as you just said there, you got the one-click app. It's available 24 hours a day. You can report those potholes anytime, even when crews aren't working, okay? Get her done. Back with my final take. You're watching The Take on 11Alive Plus. We're back right after this. Well, it's going to be back into the 80s once again this afternoon. 83 degrees, your forecast high. A little bit more sunshine for the early half of the day, and then late, here comes those showers and thunderstorms popping up on us. We're not talking about area-wide, but there will be a few thunderstorms that could be strong to severe, so be on the lookout for that if you're going out and about tonight. Unfortunately, the rain is going to linger right on into Saturday. We have a 60% chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms once again as a front will pass through the area. Now, that front will help take some of this humidity down. Certainly will clear us out, dry us out, so we'll get the sunshine back in. May start off with a few clouds on Sunday morning, but the afternoon looks clear. We'll stay clear for Monday, Tuesday, and then by Wednesday, another disturbance will move close enough to the area that will give us a slight chance for an isolated shower. 80 will be our high temperature by Thursday. All right, it is graduation season. You know, it's during this time of the year that you hear these great stories about those completing these big milestones. Well, the Lee family out of Austell, Georgia is doing just that. Quilla Lee is graduating from Georgia State University with a master's degree, but she's also going to do so with her 3 daughters. Amazing. On May 7th, Quilla, with her oldest daughter, Rakia, will graduate with master's degrees. And then the 2 of them will go on to cheer her 2 twin daughters, Kalela and Camilla, who will graduate with biology degrees. What a moment it will be for the Lee family, all graduating on the same day at the same school. Can you believe that? Education is obviously a priority for the family because they've all expressed plans to go back and continue their education, including Mom, who plans to go back for her doctoral degree. She's a school teacher, by the way. Education is a priority at home, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'll get my family to go back to school, maybe. That's all we got for you today, folks. Make it a great weekend and try to encourage someone today. Try to encourage them to go back to school. And me too. And help us out. We could use the money to pay for it. Have a great weekend.